Hey, good evening. My name is Jim Bolt. I'm select board member of the town of Plainfield. With me is Tim Davis. He's another select board member, and we're calling a meeting of the select board to into session. It's 7:03, I think.
6:02.
6:02. Excuse me. Well, we used to meet at 7, so it's all that. Are there any changes to the agenda? I had a couple. I learned that Robin is not going to be here tonight because she's ill, so we won't be getting the town clerk treasurer report. And also, Michael Billingsley has an appointment, a medical appointment early tomorrow morning, so he's also not planning to be here tonight. We won't be hearing from him either. So those two items would come off the agenda. And are there any other changes anybody thinks we should make? Okay, so I move we approve those changes. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Then the next item on the agenda is an executive session regarding evaluation of appointment of select board member. But before we do that, I guess we should elect a chair for since we don't have a chair at the moment.
So do I have to nominate you officially?
Yeah, I'm willing to be chair. Tim said he would rather not be, so that's I think what we're going to do.
So I call for a vote to what do we call elect Jim Bolts, chairman of the select board.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, so I'll be the chair for now. The next item on the agenda is the potential for an executive session to discuss reappointing Riley Carlson back to the select board. He indicated he would be interested in doing that. We don't think we're going to need an executive session, so we thought we might need to discuss that privately, but like I don't feel like we need to do that. I think that's some issues that we can discuss about. So if he, so I move we reappoint him to the select board. Any discussion?
None for me.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right. So if he shows up, he'll be part of the discussion. Maybe he'll show up on there.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it'll be a future meeting. Do we have any public comment?
Yes, I would. If the discussion of the petitions is really going to be specifically about setting a date, I would like to talk about the substance of the petition.
Sure, I think I'd rather do it now that as well. That's
Anyways,
everybody else wants.
Right. Just I was the individual who organized the various petitions. There are 6 in total. 5 center on the change in having the town clerk, treasurer positions appointed and having the ability to have somebody from outside the town lines. The second petition is one regarding expanding the select board from 3 people to 5 people. I just want to say that my submitting the petitions was in no way trying to burden the select board and is not meant to single out any individual. Rather, this is really about process and how to achieve the most accountable, transparent town government. In short, the present town clerk treasurer status as an elected official, 1, they can only be chosen from within the town boundary, meaning many qualified candidates are excluded from being considered for the office. 2, has authority over the finance records keeping to a point where the select board is not able to recommend oversight procedures or set hours. Has the ability to hide mistakes from the public, has complete oversight over other municipal building employees, further tightening the stranglehold on information. A very important point. When you want to elect somebody, you have to know what the record is, and if they control what the record is, that's the problem. I'm not saying that any individual has done that. I'm just saying the way the office is set up right now is problematic. The other thing is if the town clerk treasurer engages in malfeasance, there's very limited ability to correct the action. So the reforms in the petitions that I set forward are 1, expanding the candidate search beyond the town lines if you have an exponentially higher number of qualified applicants. The select board will have the power to enact disclosure requirements and attend to concerns about management. The select board will be able to take immediate action should circumstances require. And most importantly, it creates very clear lines of authority, erasing any confusion regarding accountability. Once again, the select board would be able to, choose a candidate of their choosing. In terms of the mechanics of it, if someone were to run this time around and be elected, and all the petitions passed, and most critically, the legislature approved the town charter change, then the select board would have the ability to appoint somebody immediately, making the election null. Let me just speak for a second on the process. A lot of people were dismayed at the number of petitions, and there have been, Charlie is raising a question about a procedural issue regarding the town charter and so forth. Let me say that in municipal law, when you're dealing with these types of issues, there is an unusual amount of gray area. In other words, if you ask experts, you get different answers. In fact, one thing already raised its head in that I redid one of the petitions because I had one word that wasn't right, and I thought that could be easily amended since we're having 2 public meetings. That may or may not be the case because the petition originated from being signed, not originating with the select board. So there are questions about different things. The 3 to 5 person select board change is also very strange. And so, I asked a simple question to experts: when you go from 3 to 5, how does that work procedurally? Some experts said, well, you can just appoint right away. Other experts said, no, the vacancies do not meet the standard of what a vacancy is, so you're forced to have an election. I think, that's an area where we probably should add some language if the thing passes to automatically trigger a special election. If no one runs in the special election, then you can appoint. So there are all these very, complicated subtleties. I think that there is an overwhelming compelling interest in terms of just common sense to make the change with the treasurer town clerk position. I think the reason that there are so many petitions has to do with the way the laws are structured. So in Vermont, any change to municipal government has to be okayed by the legislature. That's not true in other states. In Vermont, it is true. The proposals, every one of the petitions, including the 3 to 5 petition, all those things have been pre-approved by the legislature. So this is sort of plug and play. The only one that's different is the charter change. And just to speak, I think I got a feeling of what the issue that Charlie is going to raise. And don't let me, if I mischaracterize the argument, let's just say it's not Charlie, let's just say it's anybody. There's a question of, well, how can you have something on the ballot that's against the charter? And once again, different answers to that question. I understand the argument. The argument formally would be, you really need to make the charter change first, then make the town clerk treasurer change. I understand that argument. However, it does not seem to be a set case law that you can't do it this way and hold off implementation until the legislature approves. I might be corrected or whatever. I have more inquiries into more people to get to the bottom of that question. But understand, the town clerk treasurer vote cannot be made in a special meeting. It has to be a town meeting. Hence the push in terms of why I did the petitions this way. It seems to me if changes need to be made to satisfy that concern, I think they can be made it would require a little complicated, I would actually have to withdraw the petition and you guys would submit it and could change the language. Because I think that you could actually change the language so it wouldn't raise the concern that some people are raising. But once again, the spirit of this, whether you agree with the changes or not, is really just to have a public discussion. And I hope there will be a lot of public discussion about the issues. And once again, not about individuals, really just about creating town government that is responsive and accountable.
Okay, I just like to add a couple of things, which is because you filed these as petitions, we can't change the wording. You have to file new petitions with different wording. And that's what you did. So far, but if there was further changes that you wanted, you wouldn't be able to make those changes. As the select board, you have to file a petition.
Well,
Could be made.
well, it could be, I could file new petitions,
Right.
or I could have a meeting with you guys and just say, if you guys wish to,
We can issue our own.
you can issue your own
Right.
based on the thing, and I would gladly withdraw my petitions to, just to understand, you have a working partner here that ends up being. a
Okay,
concern.
all right.
I think of a situation, and this is maybe overly simplistic, but if for some reason the town clerk treasurer thing passes and the separate petition to change the town charter doesn't, would that then negate the town treasurer vote?
Yeah, and well, the town
I don't
treasurer.
know how that would happen.
Okay,
It's
so
just a scenario.
just to be clear, and I talked to different attorneys because I was concerned about an issue that Charlie may or may not bring up, but here's the thing. What I was told was that nothing can take effect until the charter is sanctioned. So it doesn't matter how people vote unless the charter is. It matters, in other words, if everybody votes to pass it and the charter change isn't recommended, isn't approved, then nothing happens. So just to be clear, nothing would happen. The charter change is principle.
Foundation.
Yeah, so.
Okay, Charlie, did you want to make comments?
I'll come in, it's more or less presented one issue, but it opens up a Pandora's box. Certainly, I think there's, first of all, an imperative that a legal opinion should be sought out by the town, either the League of Cities and Towns, the Secretary of State, or the town lawyer, or other lawyers, to determine exactly what the legalities are. As I see it, the charter as it sits now does not allow a petition to change the way that the town clerk and town treasurer are elected or appointed. It's firm. And because of ex post facto principles, you can't have something in the future change what's happened in the past. Again, I'm not a lawyer, but I think it's absolutely imperative that a lawyer is considered. By the way, this exact question came up 2 years ago. In January of 22, there was a discussion by the select board whether the town clerk and town treasurer could be appointed. At that time, I brought up this exact issue, that it wasn't in accord with the charter. At that point, the select board, after consideration, decided not to put that question or those issues on the warning. Whether that was a precedent or not is almost irrelevant. I think the select board right now should face the fact that the charter says one thing and the petitions say something else.
So the petitions are seeking to change which
No, there are 4 petitions
one?
that are
Not all of them.
in conflict, and there's one petition to change the charter. By the way, the charter does not change on passage in the town. It only passes when the legislature confirms, approves it.
So your belief is the way that it's written the charter change would be this town meeting, we'd have to wait all the way to the next town meeting to make the other petitions. Or after the legislature approves the.
What I am firmly believing is that the charter has to be changed before the 4 petitions about the town clerk are considered, because as of now, they are illegal. They come under the frivolous and illegal, which means possibly that you don't have to put them on the ballot.
Okay, so
Excuse me, could you state your full name
Oh,
for the minute?
Charles Conrad, from Martin Meadow, in the town of Plainfield, and registered voter. Secondly, I am unsure whether the petitions have to be on Australian ballot or not. I am uncertain if the petitions need to have hearings. My impression is that the town charter says there are questions, not the election of officials, not petitions for budgetary things, questions for the town are to be brought up at town meeting and discussed on the floor.
Yeah.
Having a preliminary hearing is counter to that, which is the decision is made in town meeting by people that hear the discussion. And I think a lot of this rolls over to that exact principle. We are trying to get the town and town meeting to make decisions that are important for town meeting. And that gets to the election of a town clerk and a town treasurer. In Vermont, there's a 200-year history of electing the town clerk and the town treasurer independently of the select board. And that's been going on. That only changed in 2017 with the Coventry loophole, where Coventry had a grand problem with their clerk and treasurer. And after 6 years, finally got the legislature to pass the bill that allows the select board to appoint the town clerk and having the town clerk and treasurer at their serve at their convenience. I think it's very important in Vermont, in the tradition of Vermont, to have the town clerk and the town treasurer independent, an officer of the town, most likely from the town, to handle the affairs of the town and independent of the select board. Now, many people could feel differently, and the legislature has allowed that to change by saying that the select board can appoint the town clerk and the town treasurer. But I think that's going backwards. It's trying to, the current petitions are trying to solve a problem that really might be solved in other matters. The clerk and the treasurer might be separated. A treasurer that has more expertise might be from himself.
well, Linda Wells recommended. But that would be a separate person.
That would be something, and that would be a discussion for town meeting,
Right, exactly.
not a petition.
But as to your main point, which is we should have our lawyer look at it, I think that's probably what we should do. I'm in favor of.
I do remember you seeing an email where you ran that by
I
and.
didn't ask him specifically the legality of the
Okay.
petition relative to our charter. Maybe we can ask-
And 2 years ago, that was run by the Secretary of State, which, by the way, cannot be a legal advice.
Right.
Vermont City Legal League of Cities and Towns can only give advice. However, many of the presentations there did not point out that our charter says one thing and the petitions say something else.
Okay,
So,
right, yes.
Just in response, I think it's very important to understand that town traditions are not set in stone. And the way things are evolving, we all want responsive, transparent town government. A petition brings this to the town meeting for a vote. We will have plenty of time to have a full discussion regarding the issues. It's very important to have a discussion. But I think that people should understand that there are many town traditions. For example, in Plainfield, we used to elect the town constable. That became untenable. We changed. In Plainfield, in the 1970s, there was a separate municipal government versus town government. It changed. Things changed. And the fact that every petition, everything that I brought up, the town clerk and the town treasurer, plus the 3 to 5 select board, have already been pre-approved by the legislature, speaks to what the needs of the towns are. So I think that it's very important people look at the larger questions.
Okay,
Can I ask a question?
sure.
When you say pre-approved, Fran.
What I mean-
Let me ask my
Sure.
question. So is it the case that the legislature has said, yes, this is a change that, you know, we could get behind? Or is it the case that they have pre-approved Plainfields?
No, they,
Situation.
let me explain. And once again, it just gets back into it's a little bit, a larger discussion. In Vermont, all changes to municipal government must be pre-approved by the state
A
legislature.
specific request for a change.
Well, let me just say, in general, I'm saying they have to be pre-approved, and every town has a charter, which is also approved by the legislative body, the state.
Mhm.
What I'm saying is, the state has basically turned this question to the towns and said, if you want to appoint,
Mhm.
you can vote on it at a town meeting
So
and
it's
make the
general
change.
sanction.
It's a general sanction, and if you want to have somebody from outside the town bounds, that's a separate piece of legislation that they have also approved. In other words, these things are pre-approved, and you also have to have a town charter approved in order for them to take effect.
Mhm.
But what I'm saying is that the fact that the legislature has already basically said to towns, well, we're going to put this in your court, but understand that when you make the change, you have to do it within a very specific way. If we wanted to have a 9-person select board, that's not in the cards. We either have a 3-person select board or a 5-person select board. And with a 5-person select board, the 2 extra members serve 2-year terms, not 3-year terms.
Right.
So what I'm saying is, it's what they said, if the town wants to, they can do that.
Well,
Is that if the town approves these measures,
mhm.
then the piece about the change in the town charter petition would go to the legislature for approval. So absolutely nothing happens in regards to the town clerk treasurer questions
Right.
unless the charter is changed. The 3 to 5-person select board change, if that's approved at town meeting, we would immediately become a 5-person select board with a 3-person quorum immediately after if the vote is approved. That presents some challenges, and you know, we can have that discussion
So
also.
I think one of the questions in my mind that keeps coming up again and again is sequencing and, you know, the steps of the process.
Can you state your name, please?
Oh, I'm Jen Guarino.
Thank you.
So anyway, I'm just curious about that, and maybe we're getting too far into the weeds, I don't know. But as a citizen, I'm just interested in.
I mean, the only thing is gonna happen after today, I think, is we're gonna ask our lawyer about the legality of the petitions. And if they are legal, then we'll go through the process that's laid out in statute that Fran copied, gave us a copy of, which means we'll have to have 2 public hearings and then a vote at town meeting.
For which of these actions?
Or maybe all of them, if depending on
If the
what.
lawyer says that it's okay, that's where I'm at. This is well above my legal understanding. So I would like the lawyer to just
Yeah.
tell us if this is allowed. I have no problem
So we're not
with
making.
them going on to the things.
But let me say, when you have a discussion with a lawyer, you have to ask the question, if the petitions regarding the town clerk treasurer are problematic, could they be reworded? So they
Right,
wouldn't.
might not do it, sure.
So I think that's the.
Oh, yeah, sure, no, I
Yeah,
would want to do
right,
that.
yeah.
I want to do what, I don't have a position on this one way or the other, I want to do what the people of the town think is the best thing to do. So if people really feel that, making these changes is what they want, that's fine with me, but if they don't, then that's fine too. So
Yeah, I'm generally of the same mind, with a kind of in the back of my head thinking that at this point, it may be somewhat very unlikely anyone who lives in town wants to run for clerk. The only person who ran last time has said they have no interest at all, so we might have to go outside the town.
No, actually, sorry, just so you understand, and just so everybody understands, if no one runs for the office, okay, no one runs, you cannot appoint somebody from outside of the town. You have to appoint somebody.
Yeah, that was kind of my point, that we may need to somehow pass this cycle, if nobody runs and there's no one to appoint, then we just don't have a clerk. And I think that's not great for the town.
Yeah.
You're saying that that's a good reason to pass it?
Yes, I agree, yeah.
Like, it may be not an opinion, but a necessity.
For disclosure, I have the paperwork to step in as town clerk treasurer, and the idea would simply be a placeholder so that if this all passes, I would step down, you guys could do whatever you want. That would be the thing. I don't want to do that. Maybe somebody will step up.
I have another, I'm sorry, another one question, more general, which is, if there are two members now of the select board, what is a quorum? Is it two?
Two, yeah.
Two.
That's why we have this meeting today.
Yeah, okay. thanks.
But we did just reappoint Rob.
Yes,
There's a difference between a quorum and a majority.
Right, I understand, that's why I asked the question.
But
Obviously, one is not.
but one of the things, when we had the discussion regarding going from a 3-person board to a 5-person board, one of the disadvantages to that moving to 5 is that you have a 3-person quorum, meaning this meeting couldn't take place because there are only 2 members. So that's the challenge, and I think people should understand that. There are benefits, however, having to do with a much easier open meeting law requirements in terms of people collaborating on projects, that kind of thing. So there are pros and cons.
Right now, the two of us cannot have any kind of a conversation.
Yeah, that's how
We're
it's
gonna
getting
enter
difficult
together.
with all these things being proposed and not being able to talk about it.
We're not noticing a hearing,
So
because 2 of us is a quorum. So immediately, if we didn't notice the hearing, we can't talk about it. We can't even do anything. So we can't be on a committee and work together on a project without noticing every time we get together.
Yeah,
So and so on a 5-person board, you could have that kind of collaboration, which makes the 5-person board, at least testimony from other towns that have tried it, more successful. I would note that every single member of the select board in Calais, for a variety of reasons, stepped down last cycle. Every single one. It's a 5-member board, and I said to myself, how are they going to fill that? And they have, I think, 6 people ended up running. So I think there's a sense that there's a more sense of people joining the thing because they don't feel it's so pressurized with 3. So.
That would be, I hope that would be true. I tend to agree with you that it would seem like it would be better. And people would be more likely to come forward.
and is one of you operating as chair?
Right now, I am.
Yeah.
We just have no issues. Yeah.
In the comments in the Zoom chat,
Sure.
people are saying it's difficult to hear what's being said in the room.
Okay.
So I moved the microphone. That's the best we can do.
Okay.
And Alice Merrill is asking if at some point could the chair give a recap of this conversation?
Sure, I'll try to do that. We've been talking about the petitions and the brand file and what steps we have to take in order to act on them. And the charter change for sure has to be approved by the legislature, even if it is approved by the town at town meeting. So, and none of these none of the provisions in the petitions can go into effect until after that. So they wouldn't go into effect immediately, even if they were all approved at town meeting. And Somebody has a different view? I thought.
Yeah, like there was a disagreement from, sorry, I forgot your name already.
I'm sorry.
Charlie, that we can't even put them on the warning.
We're going to get a legal
Yeah.
opinion
That seemed to be.
from our lawyer as to whether or not the petitions themselves, as they've been implemented and filed and worded, are meet the legal requirements to be acted on at this time.
Can I just interject? These are, okay, it's a little complicated.
Right.
There are 6 petitions. 5 of the petitions concern the town clerk treasurer.
Right.
Okay, 5 of the petitions concern the town clerk treasurer. And one of those petitions requires a charter change. So there is a question as to whether we need to make the charter change petition, simply put that forward and scrap the other changing of the town clerk treasurer, the other 4. The going from 3 to 5 member select board petition is not controversial and doesn't require a charter change and could be implemented immediately. So we're really just talking about, there are 2 petitions regarding town residency requirements, one for town clerk, one for town treasurer, and the other, the appointment of the select board for the town clerk and the town treasurer. That have to be separate petitions. So it's those 4 that are in question, and perhaps they can be reworded if there's a problem. So.
And we're going to check with our attorney about them, and he may suggest wording changes. So we will see where we are after we talk. Good, now let's hear all that.
I think it's still difficult for people
Okay.
to hear. There's some
So-
suggestions about what would make it better, but it's longer term things like changing the room or
Oh, yeah.
having people speak into the microphone. Alice Merrill had a comment.
Okay.
Would you like me to read that?
Sure.
Alice Merrill says, I think that it is a good idea to change to a 5-member board. In the long run, this will work. She also wants to know if there's a time frame for these changes, and do we have to have a vote at town meeting?
So just to be clear, we're not deciding anything tonight. We're going to seek advice of our lawyer, and at least one of the changes would have to be approved at town meeting, correct? If we want to.
In other words, the way it stands now, we would put. I think that 2 of the 6 petitions would be ready for town meeting. The town charter change and the 3 to 5 select.
Okay.
Those are sort of good to go. The question is whether the other 4, specifically regarding appointment and residency requirements, either cannot be or need tweaking. Now, just to be clear, okay, if we do not act on those at town meeting, we have to wait another full cycle of town meeting, because you cannot have a special meeting regarding that change. It has to be a town meeting.
Okay.
So, and just so also everybody knows, the filing date for the town clerk treasurer is in 2 weeks.
Okay.
No one has stepped forward. If no one steps forward, we are forced to try to pick from within the town boundary to fill this important role. I personally don't think it makes sense. So I think there's a sense of urgency about it.
Could Alice hear that, you know? Anyway, I hope you hear that, Alice. Otherwise it'll be in the minutes, right?
People are saying it's still hard to hear.
Yeah.
I don't know
I
if
thought we
maybe,
didn't have this issue so much before. I don't know what's different.
Well, we used to have people come sit up right next to the microphone.
so maybe we could pull that chair up and anyone who
Well,
wants to
there's more-
speak can move closer.
Are we done? Is there more to talk about on this topic?
Alice has another question.
Sure.
Can we postpone town meeting in order to get this done and do it right?
I think.
You come up to the mic, it's off.
Right. I think that that's a complicated question. I think that there are certain things that are required on, what is it, March 4th. But as we experienced last year, perhaps a 2-tier town meeting where we do the mandated stuff on the forth and then have
An adjourn.
a later, an adjournment. But I didn't get a clear answer from people that you know, once again, a lot of times you talk to different lawyers, you get different answers.
Yeah. I would just add that, based on what you said earlier, if we delay town meeting to a later date, that might be equivalent to a special meeting. And you had said earlier that we couldn't approve these at a special meeting.
You can approve the town charter, but it takes, I mean, last year, was that a special meeting? I thought it was part of the town meeting.
Well, last year we had legislative authority to change the
Okay.
difference now.
Well, maybe we
This
should
year, I
talk
don't
to-
think we do, so.
Well, we can talk to Mark and
Yeah.
maybe get it.
Anything else? Yeah, so as I said earlier, we're not deciding, we're just hearing about it, learning about it, so we can figure out what our next steps are. We're gonna talk to our attorney and find out where things stand and what he thinks of all of this, and we'll report back to everyone. We ready to move on to the next item? Okay, well, as I said earlier, Robin Hill is not here, she's home sick, so we're not gonna get a town clerk report. We've already discussed the petition to change the town charter. Michael Billingsley is also out for medical reasons, so we're not gonna get an emergency management update. So the next thing is discuss the CVEDC funding request.
That's me.
Okay, you want to identify yourself?
I'm Melissa.
Can you move your chair out here first? People are.
I'm Melissa Bounty. I'm the executive director of Central Vermont Economic Development Corporation.
Okay.
And we're a nonprofit that has served businesses and employees in Washington and Puget Sound and Oregon since 1970.
Taking some money from us, right?
Yes, I guess, so the history is fraught on both ends. I'm a new executive director, so I have record that Plainfield has paid this $300 a year for 20 years, along with the other, I'm sorry, what's the issue? We sent in a request for the annual $300 that we believe.
When we did the budget, we're not allocating any money, and we thought they should.
Okay.
So, thank you. So the homework on both sides is a little bit of a mess. I'm a new director, and I don't have a necessary exact record of how Plainfield paid. So in some circumstances, with a more rural municipality, a single person will step up and pay that money, and I'll chart it in my system the exact same way. So I know, for instance, that happens in town of Middlesex. County wanting to keep it on the roster felt a little expensive, and a private person said, I'll pay the $300 every year because I really want the organization here. So I don't have an exact record of who paid, but I have a record that Plainfield has always paid this for 20 years. I'm working with the town clerk and a couple other people to try to corroborate exactly where that money was drawn from.
In great depth, and especially, it doesn't make a difference to me one way or the other. I think you're a worthwhile agency that deserves our support, so I'd be in favor of making these.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think when we were going through the budget lines, it was like the end of a meeting and we were checking things off a list. And I think you just got just, you know, that sounds like it's just what business is.
There's some confusion that you might have been helped by another.
I think, yeah.
Must be accurate, so.
Where we work in hand with the planning commission, we're kind of like sister agencies, and I did wonder if people maybe just didn't know what we were.
Just a quick reminder, we do have a public service committee. That's,
And they made recommendations, and they did not include this
okay,
organization.
so that should be a fact, that
Right.
the recommendation was made. And it was just a bookkeeping error later.
Oh.
No, they didn't make a recommendation about this organization, the committee did. That's the problem. They didn't make a recommendation, so we didn't approve any money. but we think the ball got dropped somewhere along the way. So why they didn't know about the request. So that's why we didn't rule on it. We didn't know about it, so that's why we didn't rule on it. So now we know about it.
I seem to remember it was actually a budget line.
It's a budget. And it wasn't. Because it wasn't recommended by the committee.
Okay,
But the committee didn't get a request for money from you, that's why they didn't recommend it. But now, so now that they're presenting us with a request, which we weren't aware of before, I guess I'm in favor of doing that.
I move that we approve $300 budget line to, what are the letters?
EDC.
Thank you.
All in favor?
Aye.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
I'm sorry that it took so many emails for $300. That seemed really long, but
It's more important.
thank you for the work you do.
Take care.
You too.
All right, next item. Discussion of town dog waste issue. I don't know if there's anybody here who knows about the dog waste issue. Yeah, I guess not. My understanding from talking to the clerk's office is that there was someone who was emptying the dog waste out of the dog containers at the Mill Street Park and at the rec field, but for some reason that's no longer happening. And so we need to deal with it, I guess. I think one of the problems was, you remember?
I think we need a town maintenance person.
People who are collecting the waste were putting it into the receptacles where they were supposed to put it, but they weren't getting picked up and the receptacles were getting full.
I think the
So-
receptacles were frozen shut and there was
Frozen
no
shut.
one to help.
Yeah, and no one could get them open.
So there was.
So we'll have to see if we can find someone willing to work on it. Maybe it's somebody who works for the town already, or maybe I'll go down there and do it.
But I would say, in the meantime, if we don't have a volunteer doing it, that everyone in town should plan on bringing your dog's waste home and throwing it away.
There you go.
Or have your dog go to the bathroom in the woods.
Right.
Carol, sorry, not Carol, Alice has a comment in
Sure.
the chat. I can tell you that we need a new person to do the dog containers. Can we please move forward on getting a part-time maintenance person? It is a difficult job to take on, and that position has been.
Yeah,
Still is.
a couple of times, we've never even gotten one application. So if anybody knows of a person who's willing to be a maintenance, we had one for many years and he moved away. And it'd be very nice. It's a part-time job, it pays. And that's if needed. There's more, it involves more than just emptying the dog waste containers. It involves other trash collection and also cleaning the town hall, the house and the clerk's office. Or maybe just the
I
clerk's
think it's
office.
more like maintenance
Or maintenance.
things. We have a
Yeah,
cleaning.
that's what I'm not going to do. Maintenance like plumbing and carpentry and things.
I would, actually honestly say, I looked at the job listing myself, and there are parts of it that I would be willing to do for some kind of hourly rate, but the whole job description seems like something I have no interest in taking.
Okay, so if
Like, I don't want to be in here painting a bathroom, but if you need someone to oversee a painting, come to the
talk to the clerk about
thing.
what projects they have, and if there are any that you're willing to do, we could hire you to do them.
Yeah, I would consider temporarily.
Yeah,
doing
that'd be great.
some
Yeah,
here
so,
and there.
yeah.
I'm thinking of truck, I suppose I could go down there and,
Yeah.
Awesome, thank you.
Well, clerk's office, what we need.
I'll stop by there and just, tell them, get
Good,
it.
thanks a lot.
But someone else please apply, because I don't actually want to do it.
Keep writing. I could do it for a while too, after you get tired. So that's the end of that issue. The update on 79 Dean Road, did you have an update? You had-
I was just wanting to put this on here, as I remember the last time we talked about it at the meeting. There was a deadline or something in December, and then after that, we were supposed to do another action, like send a notice to vacate again. Just so that we had like a certified mail official one, because whatever date, 6-month date ended at the end of December.
So I'm not sure where we are on that process, and the clerk's not here today, so maybe we put that on the future agendas to get on.
Okay, I think I made mostly wanted on here just so that if anyone from the Bean Road area was on, that they
Hi.
knew we got it again.
Oh, there's Ken, okay.
We're trying to.
Hi, right, this is Kim Nolan. Okay, I talked to Ryan. Yes, the 6-month seasonal time is up as of December 31st. The people are still there, very much anchored in. And I asked Ryan if he had gotten in touch with Karen Story about refiling the paperwork. I have not heard back from him, but as you had said, we need to refile in regards to their non-compliance or whatever. They're supposed to move off the lot. So we haven't heard anything more as of this time. But
Okay.
if I'm going to ask Ryan one more time, if not, I will be contacting Karen Story myself to follow
Okay.
up with this, because I want this definitely cleaned up.
That'd be great if you could follow up with her, that'd be terrific. And then.
I will.
I've been in touch with our lawyer about going after the estate of the person who owned the trailer, who owns the trailer and whose in-laws have inherited it apparently and are living there, so that we could take action against them. But it hasn't been, but we're waiting for the estate to be opened in probate, because we can't do anything until that happens.
Right.
And that still hasn't happened as far as.
Yeah, I know everything's waiting on that probate.
Yeah, so if you have, Kim, if anything you could do, then if you want to send us an email about it.
Yes, I will. Yep, but I'll get in
Great.
touch with Karen tomorrow because I want to get this paperwork filed again since we did not realize we had to refile it, the new occupants.
Okay, good, thank you, that'd be terrific.
Okay,
Then next on the agenda is approve the municipal building as a harm reduction kit pickup site. You know anything about that?
Yes, this was something I initiated. I have already been in contact with the state. I think it's the Department of Health, honestly, and I don't know for a fact. I just, they hand out harm reduction kits and you can sign up to be a site. And what it is little kits in a bag, and it has Narcan in it. It has fentanyl test strips in it, and I believe xylazine test strips in it. And they're free. All we would have to do, I actually already have them. All we would have to do is approve that people can come to the town hall when it's open and get one either from some kind of drop box we can make, or even just request one for the time being. I was thinking also maybe we could reach out to the co-op and see if they were interested in being the site, just somewhere right here in the village, where people can get that. Not just for people who are actively using drugs, but anyone who knows someone who uses drugs or as a family member or is worried about their neighbor even can pick up one of these kits for free and give it to whoever they want. There's no controlled substances. Narcan is generally harmless. If you took it, even if you didn't need it, nothing would happen. It's just to reverse opioid overdoses. So yeah, I just wanted to see if we could approve the town offices for now to be a site that people are welcome to come get.
All right, so I think I'd rather do that when Robin's here, to see if we already talk with her about it.
She never weighed in on her opinion.
Okay, so that.
But them being here already, I would.
Oh, they were already?
Yeah, we have them.
Okay, if somebody wants to come and pick them up, they have to ask the clerk.
Yeah,
So, I mean, I'm fine with doing it as long as they're agreeable.
so can we,
We can move and have a motion for that.
yeah,
Assuming the clerk's office is agreeable, I would move that we allow the Narcan kits to be, or what are they called?
Harm reduction.
Harm reduction kits to be distributed from here, from the health.
I say all in favor.
But, yeah, so I move that's all in favor.
Aye.
All right, okay. So you can talk to the.
Yeah,
folks about that.
pending their.
All right. So we have, our next on the agenda is approve an access permit for the grill bar flatting Hinton. Have an access permit. Out. I think. There you go. It's an application for an access permit from to build a driveway up to a 2% grade, 20 feet away from the edge of the shoulder for safe entering and exiting the roadway. And this would be, the applicant is Jacob Brillhart and Annalisa Gladding, Hinton. And they're the landowners, and it's at 39 Allen Hill Road in Topsom, Vermont. Okay. But the property, sorry, that's the mailing address. The property address is 1800 Middle Road in Plainfield, Vermont. So that's the way they want to make the change, since we don't have the authority over Topsom. Any discussion about this, or
Is this a permit to cut the curb or something?
what it says is it's an access permit, so it's to, I guess, to put in access to a town road and to build a driveway up to a 22% grade, 20 feet away from the edge of the shoulder for safe entering and exiting the roadway. And we may have even already approved this, so we just need to sign.
Yeah, this seems like a weird thing to not. I feel like I did this once,
Yeah.
but I had to go through the roads. Yeah, the roads
I
commission.
think that, does it have Michael Bingham's signature on it? I think he already approved it and now.
Oh,
it's
okay,
like-
yeah, as long as he's fine.
I move we approve this.
All in favor?
Aye. Okay, so we just need to sign. And I guess if I'm the chair, I can sign.
We just want you.
That is the, date. Okay, next item. Sign mortgage discharge for Daniel number Lee, 11 Ocean Road in the packet. And that's this here. And we've already approved that, I was told. The chair is supposed to sign it. It says, I hereby certify that the following described mortgage is paid in full and satisfied. Daniel number Lee mortgage to town of Plainfield, mortgagee, date of 1986, book 31. The town of Plainfield no longer has an interest in this lien credit reporting instrument, so that's why they're going to discharge it. So, you want to make a motion?
I'd make a motion that we discharge,
We approve the
that
discharge
we approve the discharge.
of the board.
of the-
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, and then I'll sign. Okay. Approval of warrants. So we have some warrants we've seen, I think, by email already, December 21st, 23, and December 29th, 23, accounts payable warrants. I move we approve those. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And then payroll warrants of December 21st, 23, December 27th, 23, and January 4th, 24. I move we approve those. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And then we have some draft minutes to approve. Are you prepared to approve those two?
Yes.
Okay, December 4th, 23, December 5th, 23, and December 18th, 23. I move we approve those three. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, then I will entertain, are we done then? Is there anything else that we haven't covered in here? I think we've covered everything. Wow, looking at Kristen.
I don't have a copy of
Oh,
the
yes, you don't.
agenda in front of me, but,
As far as I know, we've covered it.
I think you did.
All right, so I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
All those in
No,
favor?
I know, I meant
What
to.
what do I do?
We move to adjourn.
I move that we adjourn.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you all, appreciate it.
Learn the choreography for these plays.
Yeah, you're fine.
Somebody should eat this last pretzel, they're really, really good.